All right. There is I think there's no better word to describe my quads, and honestly my hamstrings too, from how much work they got from the leg pressing, as just straight up freaking disheveled. I mean, I'm not talking like, comfortably, like, ooh, they're a little tender. No, I mean, these things are cooked. Like, the amount of just kind of, I don't want to say pumped, but like damage they've got. Like, they still feel like they're a little pumped today. Even, I mean, we're getting close to damn near 24 hours later. So yeah, I think that's what I want my quad days to look like going forward. Higher volume with a lot of reasonably heavy pressing. And I say reasonably heavy because, I mean, most of those sets were like 16 reps. That's not what I would consider overdoing it. 8 reps on the leg press, I'd be a little curious just how heavy that would feel. But 16, no, that is all right. Plus, didn't even try the hack. So now next leg day will be even a little bit freaking different. Plus, there'll be that new leg press coming soon enough. But even though my quads are in shambles, my chest is fresh. My chest is freaking fresh. So no need for any dumbbell work. Partially because my legs are so tired from they're so tired from last night. I wouldn't want to even bend over to pick up the really heavy dumbbells for bench. But also the private gym is in freaking disarray. Dumbbells and machines kind of all been scooted out of the way to get the mirrors installed. It's going to be a little bit of a 2-day thing. So I'm stopping there later to try to put some of that stuff back. Because one wall's done, the other wall's half done, and it just needs a few more pieces. I think they might have only been able to deliver so many that day or something. Whatever. But yeah, so plan for chest. I was about to go to one of the gyms I've been going to basically forever, but I forgot they close early on Friday. Not freaking cool. But there's one gym that I know still closes early on Friday, but closes at 9:30, not 8. And that's a certain purple and yellow one. And usually in the later hours, they don't mind if you bring all your little tripods in, but use your best discretion. At any gym, yeah, P-Fit's usually the most stingent. But luckily I've been going to this one forever, so I know all the guys who work there, so, or at least we've seen each other for long enough. It's we're just kind of cool like that. But plan for chest, we'll just have to see. Probably Smith machine bench. The pre has not been drank yet. Yeah, probably Smith bench. They have a plate loaded flat chest press. I might try that if I think it's kind of cool looking. But sometimes the flat chest press doesn't hit. Like, I'm spoiled. I think I've got one of the best ones at the home gym now. So it's like some of them have this weird like cambered in angle. It turns in like a weird like close grip bench. So I'll just have to see. And then after that, just cable flies, cable press. Maybe bring a dumbbell or bring one of the free benches over to the cables and do like some actual like incline cable converging press. We'll just have to see. But I think no more point discussing it. How about we just go in there and freaking make it happen? Perfect start. Yeah. 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 move on. Oh, those were good too. Oh man. Yeah, time for something more burning, squeezing, I think. Those sets of incline freaking wrecked me. I don't know if it's because I'm still fatigued from legs, but after just those 2 sets, I mean, right now, I'm feeling more than halfway to fully pumped. So this might end up being a bit of a lower volume, maybe kind of higher density lift. So after real heavy incline pressing, I'll do some slightly lighter, more flat, squeezing cable pressing. So if you get cables that are this close, you know, maybe shoulder height, take a step, bend over, and I want to feel my whole chest. Like I'm not just aiming for lower or upper. I kind of want to feel the whole thing flex. And I'll have a second hold, then back. And as I get closer to total failure, you know, a little nasty's all right. You know, within reason, of course. Use your best judgment. I go a little heavier. Not too heavy, but a little. There we go. Okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. One more. Okay. Let's finish with some flies. I think it'll be it. Damn 5-set chest day. But if you felt how pumped and sort of fatigued I was, I don't think you'd be complaining. 96% chance this is it. So, front of body flies, bend over, slightly more decline flies is the kind of finisher portion. That might be it. We'll see. If I feel like I can get more pumped after one more, I will. But honestly, I think this will be, well, we'll see. No point guessing now. Okay. Okay. Holy crap. Oh. Roll. All right. Yeah. The pose down wasn't necessarily conducive with a P-fit moment because it was packed in there. I mean, for a Friday night right before close, yeah. And it's like, you know, I don't mind throwing the shirt off at the Planet Fitness, but you know, sometimes it's a little too out of place. And then there was actually dudes in the locker room, so that's not something you want to be doing. no pump check for you. But no pump check for me also. So, a little bit of a surprise. Which, frankly, I mean, I said this a little while ago, not always a bad thing, right? Because the longer you go between, looking at your states of progress, so if you're dieting up or bulking up or dieting down, if you don't check your pump for like 3 weeks, that could be a pretty damn substantial change. I mean, 3 weeks of a real bulk, I mean, you could be upwards of like 5 pounds heavier-ish if you're, really eating enough food to steadily gain weight. So that's where sometimes it pays. Sometimes it pays to kind of look away. I said this a couple times. My first actual bulk ever, I didn't do any pump checks for like 4 months because I wanted to gain a bunch of weight and then see like a big difference. That first day I did a sleeveless arm day. Yeah, it felt freaking insane. But same thing with dieting down. Honestly, I think that's even more kind of, impressive to yourself to see, to actually give yourself a mirror check-in on a week-by-week basis. Because, I mean, if you're in a good deficit and you're not cheating and you're actually eating enough food, or you're not eating too much food and you're actually losing even just 1 pound of body fat a week by week, that's a pretty substantial freaking change. And the cool part about the dieting down and getting leaner is it's kind of an exponential change, right? Let's say after this bulking phase, let's say I've got 15 pounds of body fat that I want to get off, which I wonder if I really will get that much extra. Let's maybe, I don't know. I'm really not sure. I think I need to do a DEXA scan at the end of this bulking phase so I can really get the numbers. I meant to do one right after the diet so I'd have a baseline to start with, but I didn't want to do it during peak week, and after competitions were over, I gained a bunch of water weight, so that wouldn't have been an accurate reading either. So I'll make sure to get one at the end of this bulking phase to get an actual detailed accounting of my lean tissue versus adipose tissue. And crap, what was about this? But yeah, let's say hypothetically I've got 20 pounds of body fat I want to get off my frame. So if you lose 1 pound, you are now percentage-wise what? You're 5% leaner, right? So if you got 20 pounds of spare body fat, you lose 5% leaner. Not a massive change. You might not really notice that too much. But let's say you get down to 10 pounds of extra body fat, and then you lose 1 more pound. Now you're 10% leaner just from losing that same 1 pound of body fat. Let's say you've got 5 pounds of spare body fat and you lose 1 pound. Now you're 20% leaner. So it's the leaner you get, every pound of body fat you lose, you get even leaner and kind of freakier looking. So that's where the dieting is actually a little tricky, because it's the most rewarding right at the end when you really get to see the results. I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, that's just kind of the nature of it. So, So if you're not totally like freaking out and weighing yourself on the scale 3 hours a freaking day, then, if you really hop on the scale every couple of days to be a bit more kind of balanced with it, and you're actually on track, you're going to see a steady decline. But that's assuming your macros and your calorie intake is what it should be, right? Low enough to lose body fat, not so low that you're totally starving yourself, which should be just around a pound-ish of weight lost a week. That's a reasonably manageable amount. But then it might take a little longer. So then there's the argument of like, all right, do I diet extra hard so I don't have to diet as long? Or do I go slow and slow, but then it's going to take... There's a lot of angles to look at it there. But in either case, bulk, cut, maintain, and whatever, guess what I'm going to tell you is going to be a number one factor to keep in mind and to keep consistent with, to at least make sure that you're on track towards whatever that goal is. It's right here. Macro tracker on the phone. plug that shit in. Save those numbers. I didn't even use a macro tracker for a while. I just had my macros in the notes. I just open up my notes, and every time I'd eat 50 grams of carbs or 12 grams of fats or whatever, I would just add it to that number to make sure I kept it in track. And I know it seems like a chore. I'm not trying to say that it's just like the easiest thing in the freaking world, but once you start tracking that stuff, things will start to make sense. Oh man, I'm feeling a little sluggish today. Oh, I'm a little extra tired. Huh. What did I eat yesterday? Oh, crap. I ate like 1,000 less calories yesterday than I did today. Man, no wonder. I mean, when was the last time you got really into some kind of project, or you were seriously busy, or just any kind of thing was going on in your day, and you basically just went almost all day without eating, right? Because you were so busy with something else that you just weren't even thinking about it. If you had a workout that night and you've barely eaten anything that day, what are the odds that that workout is going to be sweet? Kind of low. So it's a little bit of the treating your body like a machine kind of logic. I think looking at it like that is a little too wild. I don't eat for taste, I eat for fuel. Let's be real, man. I mean, I'm trying to eat for taste in a sense. I'm eating for fuel first, but I want it to taste good enough that it's not a chore to put down. But what I'm getting at is you still are this freaking engine in a way, burning through calories, constantly expelling heat. And when you add muscular training, right, weight-based bodybuilding lifts, powerlifting lifts, whatever you want to do, then your calorie intake and your fuel and the amount of nutrients you're getting into your frame, it should be reflective of that training that you're doing. Because odds are you want to recover from your training, be fresh for the next day to do it again, and to do it again to a higher degree of intensity, at least over time. The only way you're going to do that is to freaking eat, man. I could train as hard as I've been training for the next 10 years, and if I only ate 2,000 calories in perpetuity, I never ate more than that, I would shrink down to I don't know what, 2,000 calories. I'm sure I could do the math, but I would gradually work my way down to, probably under 200 pounds. Now I'd be pretty dang lean, but I wouldn't grow any new muscle, because that's just not enough food to facilitate muscle growth. What would happen if you only gave a damn whale the amount of food that you give yourself? The thing's freaking starved to death. It's so big, it just needs more calories. So treat yourself the same way. If you're moving around and you're really hitting it, odds are, right, just eating like a regular dude, when you might grab some chips or Cheetos, or have some mac and cheese or something after you get home, or just whatever. Typically, just instinct eating isn't really conducive with muscle gain. And for some it's a bit of a chore, making sure you get your protein intake, actually eating your gram per pound of however much you weigh. For some guys that could be a bit of a chore, but with anything, the more you do it, the easier it gets to do, the less of a chore it gets to do, and the more naturally it's going to come to you. So if the dieting and the calorie tracking feels hard now, and you still push through it, just know it's going to get easier later. And then before you know it, you're not going to be able to, you'll almost be looking at food in a slightly different way. I don't want to say a bad way, because that's not what I think, but now when I look at a bagel, it's 50 grams of carbs, man, 8 grams of fat. Or if I'm looking at any kind of just whatever, of course I'm seeing it as the food that it is, but I also just can't even help myself but think all right, how many calories is in there? And some guys don't even, for some people that's like a nightmare. The argument for not wanting to calorie track is, oh well, I don't want to look at food like that, right? I want to look at a massive pot of butter spaghetti, or crap, is that what that one girl ate? Oh yeah, this is a TMC or a TLC show, country girl, pageants, everybody's overweight. What was it, Sketty? Yeah, let's be real, man. The macros in a damn serving of Sketty, if you showed that to somebody and they were used to eating that on the regular, they probably wouldn't want to think about it. You know what I'm saying? But as much as it might seem like you're taking away the magic from your grilled cheese or your whatever else, it's just going to give you a better grasp on kind of just overall reality, I feel. But, you know, that's up to you. But that's still I mean, it's not even a hill I'm going to die on, because I don't think it's an opinion. It's kind of just a freaking statement. You know, you're going to have a better time if you have a little more control of at least the amount of food that's going into your system, right? But that's just my 2 cents there. So I think that's all I got. Plan for tomorrow with it back. Man, go nuts. That's my plan for all these lifts, but yeah, back especially. So I'll see you then.